You get there, you get assigned this foreign counterintelligence. You already know this is really not your gig. Well, so what's your scam? What do you run? How do you try and maneuver?
Well, as it turns out, the guy who's head of the office, his kid is getting ready to go to college at Iowa State. So I'm not that far from out of Iowa State. I'm like, look, I'll connect you with some friends. We'll help make sure your landing is a soft landing. Mm-hmm. And, I help look out for his kid.
Building some relationships. Yeah.
Relationship building. And so then I want to go to the drug squad, drug and organized crime. The different choices, they got a bank robbery squad, great squad. I got no shot at the bank robbery squad. Drug and organized crime or white collar. So I'm like, let me do the drugs and organized crime. This guy, I'm told he's going to send me to drug and organized crime. And then when the transfer comes through, I'm on surveillance. Yeesh. Which ended up being a great thing. It was better than FCI. But then, that assignment played into where I ended up in New York. And surveillance is, you get to experiment with stuff. And in all the field divisions, surveillance is a light undercover. That you got a name, different last name, you got the ID, you got credit cards. In the event that you got somebody you're following, whether it's a drug dealer or a spy, gets on a plane, you got to go with them. You got to be able to pay for it. You got to be able to go. So I got a chance to do some undercover work there also, because then they're borrowing the guys in the surveillance teams. You've already got an undercover backstop. You go out and do drug buys. And that's when I found out to be an undercover is to lie for a living. And it didn't fit me, didn't suit me. Some people, it's fine. It works for you. But lying for a living didn't work for me. And undercover sounds sexy. Everybody wants to do undercover. I mean, it sounds sexy. I want to get out there. I want to buy drugs. I want to go into organized crime. I want to do all this stuff. And until you try it, something that sounds sexy, you don't really know if it's for you. So I got a chance to try it a few times in Pittsburgh, and I just realized it just wasn't for me.
I had two friends. One of them went to the FBI, was trying to go from the SEAL teams to the FBI. The other one was going to another agency inside the government. And they both went to the screening. And the guy that was going to the FBI comes back. He's, God, I took the freaking lie detector test. That thing was crazy. As soon as they said, oh, pick a number between 1 and 5 and tell us, don't tell us the number when we ask you if it's the number. And he goes, okay. And so he's, thinking of 3. And they go, is it 1? And he goes, no. And the thing's all flat. He goes, is it 2? And he goes, no. And as soon as he says that, he goes, the thing starts going wild. Is it 3? He said it's off. He goes, they knew exactly, because I told him that. And he was one of those guys that, he just wasn't comfortable lying, and it just called him out. Now my other friend who went to another agency, he comes back from his interview. And he goes, yeah, I took that lie detector test. And I go, how was that? He goes, I flat lied it. And he said that thing couldn't. He goes, I just blew through it. And here's the thing: I actually don't know if he's lying, because he lied a lot. This guy, he was one of those guys that told small lies all the time. He's talking to a girl, he's telling a crazy story. He's talking to some other dude, he's telling some crazy. Even when he's talking to you, you know those kind of friends that you have where they're kind of lying about stuff, and you're good with it. It's just white lies, but it's all the time. He was one of those guys. And so I kind of believed him when he told me he flatlined the thing.
He probably, yeah.
But he may have been even lying about that. I'm not sure. But that idea, for me, I'm like you. I don't want to be, I don't like to have to cover, lie about stuff and make stuff up. And it just doesn't sit well with me. I wouldn't be a good undercover guy. So how long did you have to do that for?
I worked surveillance for about a year and a half.
A year and a half. Now, a lot of times you're just straight up sitting in the plumbing van on the corner with a camera, taking pictures. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, or even if you're in a chase vehicle where you're following them, they're moving for an 8-10 hour shift. They're moving for an hour max. Mm-hmm. So you're sitting around no matter what.
So this is still not what you came in to do.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm biding my time in Pittsburgh at the time because I knew that I'm going to be out of there soon.
What is it? A 2-year assignments that you guys get?
Roughly at the time, it was roughly 2 years before they moved you on to one of the top offices. They called it the top 12 at the time, but everybody was going to New York at the time. Every FBI agent everywhere in the country got paid the same amount of money. If you're an agent in Kansas City, if you're an agent in my hometown, Mount Pleasant, Iowa, you got paid the exact same amount of money somebody in New York got paid. So consequently, there were people in New York were quitting right and left. They were having trouble staffing the office, and they said, "Look, you're going to New York. I mean, the orders aren't here yet, but 9 out of 10 of you coming out of this class, you guys are all going to end up in New York. So you're going. Don't be shocked when your orders for New York come through." So I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm waiting for the orders to New York to come through.